My name is Henry, and I thought I knew my family. After 42 years of marriage, losing my wife Margaret felt like losing half of myself. The funeral was barely over when my daughter-in-law Vanessa insisted we have the inheritance meeting. "Henry, we should handle this quickly," Vanessa said, her hand on my son Tyler's arm. "For closure." "Dad just buried Mom 3 days ago," Tyler protested weakly. "And that's exactly why we need to settle things now." I sat in our lawyer's office, still numb with grief. David Park, the estate executor, shuffled papers nervously. "This is unusual," David muttered. "What's unusual?" I asked. Vanessa leaned forward, that smile playing at her lips. "Henry, Margaret changed her will 2 months before she died. She left the house, the savings, everything, to Tyler and me." My blood ran cold. "That's impossible." "It's right here," Vanessa said, sliding papers across the table. Her signature, dated, notarized. I grabbed the documents. Margaret's signature looked right, but something felt wrong. "Dad, I didn't know anything about this," Tyler said. "Of course you didn't, honey," Vanessa cooed. "Margaret wanted it to be a surprise. She told me herself when we had lunch." "What lunch?" I demanded. "The one where she said she was worried about you managing alone?" David cleared his throat. "Mr. Henry, the document appears valid, unless you can prove otherwise." "My wife wouldn't cut me out of our own estate," I said. Vanessa's smile widened. "People change their minds, Henry. Margaret knew I'd take care of Tyler properly." "Mom wasn't even sick then," Tyler argued. "She didn't want to worry you," Vanessa said smoothly. That was a lie. Margaret barely tolerated Vanessa, had told me privately she was manipulative and cold. "I want this investigated," I said. "Of course," Vanessa replied. "But until then, we'll need to discuss living arrangements. The house is quite large for one person." "You want me out of my own home?" "I'm just being practical." I looked at my son, hoping he'd stand up to her. Tyler avoided my eyes. "I need time to think," I said. "Take all the time you need," Vanessa said. "But the law is the law. That house is ours now." I left that office knowing something was deeply wrong. Margaret would never betray me like this, and that smile on Vanessa's face told me everything I needed to know. The next morning, I called attorney Rebecca Morrison, an estate litigation specialist. "Tell me everything," Rebecca said. I laid out the whole story. My wife dies, and suddenly there's a new will leaving me nothing. "When exactly did your wife supposedly sign this?" "October 15th, 2 months before she died." Rebecca made notes. "And your wife's health in October?" "She was fine. We went hiking that weekend." "That's important," Rebecca said. "People don't usually disinherit their spouses when they're healthy." "What was your relationship with Vanessa like?" "Terrible. Margaret couldn't stand her. Called her a gold digger from day one." "Did your wife keep a journal? Emails?" I thought about it. She emailed her sister constantly. "Get me those emails. I need to establish your wife's actual state of mind." I spent the next week gathering evidence. Margaret's sister Linda sent me 2 years of emails. "That woman is poison," Margaret had written about Vanessa. "She's only with Tyler for his inheritance. I'll never let her get her hands on our estate." Another email from September. "Having lunch with Linda next week. Need to vent about Vanessa's latest scheme." I brought everything to Rebecca. "This contradicts everything in that will," Rebecca said. "Now we need to prove forgery." "How?" "We get the document examined by a forensic expert. I know Dr. Elizabeth Patterson, the best document examiner in the state." Dr. Patterson studied the will for 3 days. When she called me in, her expression was grim. "Mr. Henry, this signature is forged," she said. "See these hesitation marks? Someone traced your wife's signature." Can you prove it in court? Absolutely. I can show 12 distinct irregularities. Rebecca smiled. Now we need to prove who forged it. Who had access to your wife's documents? Vanessa was at the house all the time, I said. She'd go through Margaret's desk whenever she visited. Did anyone witness this? I thought hard. Our housekeeper, Rosa Martinez. She complained about Vanessa snooping. Rosa was furious when I called her. I told Mrs. Margaret about it, she said. That woman would wait until your wife went to the bathroom, then rifle through papers. I saw her photographing documents with her phone. Would you testify to that? Absolutely. I loved Mrs. Margaret. Rebecca assembled our case methodically. We'll file a challenge to the will. Once we expose the forgery, we go after Vanessa for fraud. What about Tyler? Did he know? I shook my head. My son's weak, but he's not criminal. Then we save your relationship with your son while destroying her scheme. David Park agreed to testify once he saw Dr. Patterson's report. I should have caught this, David said. The notary seal, is that real? Rebecca asked. David checked. It belongs to Jennifer Walsh. Let me contact her. Jennifer Walsh arrived at Rebecca's office 2 days later, visibly shaken. I never notarized that document, she said. Someone stole my seal last October. I reported it to the state. Do you have the police report? Rebecca asked. Right here, filed October 20th. Rebecca grinned. Vanessa didn't just forge a signature. She used a stolen notary seal. That's multiple felonies. We had everything we needed. Rebecca called for a new meeting with David Park present. Vanessa arrived looking smug. I hope you're ready to discuss moving arrangements, Henry, Vanessa said. Actually, we're here to discuss fraud, Rebecca said. Vanessa's smile faltered. Excuse me? This will is forged. We have expert testimony proving it. That's ridiculous, Vanessa snapped. I have a notarized document. Rebecca slid Dr. Patterson's report across the table. Read page 3. 12 signature irregularities. Your forgery has hesitation marks and traced characteristics. Vanessa's face went pale. Someone made a mistake. The notary whose seal appears on this document reported it stolen 5 days after this will was supposedly signed, Rebecca continued. I don't know anything about that, Vanessa stammered. Really? Because our witness saw you photographing documents in Margaret's study. Who told you that? Rosa Martinez. She'll testify you repeatedly snooped through Margaret's personal papers. Tyler, who'd been silent until now, turned to his wife. Vanessa, what did you do? Nothing! They're making this up! Rebecca pulled out another document. These are emails between Margaret and her sister Linda. Your mother-in-law explicitly states she'll never let you near the family inheritance. Those emails are fake, Vanessa said desperately. They're from Linda's email server, with metadata intact. David Park spoke up. Vanessa, I've known Margaret for 40 years. She loved Henry completely. She would never disinherit him. People change, Vanessa insisted. Not in 2 months, David said. Rebecca leaned forward. Here's what happened. You knew Margaret had a substantial estate. You cultivated access to the house, photographed her signature from old papers. You forged a new will using a stolen notary seal. This is insane, Vanessa said. When Margaret died unexpectedly from that car accident, you had your fraudulent document ready. Tyler stood up. Is this true? Of course not, Vanessa said. Tyler, tell them I wouldn't. You told me Mom wanted this, Tyler said, his voice breaking. She did. My mother hated you, I said quietly. She told me every week that you were using our son. Vanessa's mask finally cracked. She had no right to judge me. I deserved that money for putting up with her condescension. The room went silent. "Thank you for that confession," Rebecca said, gesturing to her phone on the table. Recording. Vanessa lunged for the phone, but David grabbed her arm. "You can't use that," Vanessa screamed. "Actually, this is a one-party consent state," Rebecca said. Tyler sank into his chair. "Mom was right about you." "Tyler, please." "Get away from me," he said. Rebecca gathered her papers. "Vanessa, you'll be hearing from the district attorney. Forgery, identity theft, attempted theft, and use of a stolen notary seal. 4 felonies. "I want a lawyer," Vanessa whispered. "Smart choice," Rebecca said. "You're going to need one." 6 months later, I sat in the courtroom as Judge Patricia Anderson reviewed the case file. "This is one of the more brazen fraud attempts I've encountered," Judge Anderson said. "Ms. Vanessa Carter, you forged a will, used a stolen notary seal, and attempted to defraud your father-in-law of his entire estate. How do you plead?" Vanessa's public defender spoke. "My client pleads guilty, Your Honor. We're asking for leniency based on her cooperation."
"What cooperation?" the prosecutor asked.
"She denied everything until confronted with evidence." "Your Honor, my client has no prior record," the defender said. Judge Anderson looked skeptical. "Miss Carter, do you have anything to say?" Vanessa stood shakily. "I'm sorry. I made a terrible mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly." "You weren't thinking clearly for the 6 months between forging this will and attempting to execute it?" the judge asked. "I panicked after Margaret died. I should have told the truth then." "You should never have forged the will in the first place," Judge Anderson said. "Mr. Henry, would you like to make a statement?" I stood. "Your Honor, this woman tried to steal everything my wife and I built over 4 decades. She would have left me homeless if she'd succeeded." "I said I'm sorry!" Vanessa cried. "Henry, please, I'm begging you. Tell them you forgive me." "I don't forgive you," I said clearly. "And yes, I want you to face the consequences." Tyler, sitting behind me, spoke up. "Your Honor, I filed for divorce last month." "Tyler, how can you abandon me like this?" Vanessa sobbed. "You abandoned our marriage when you decided to steal from my father," Tyler said coldly. Judge Anderson banged her gavel. "Miss Carter, I'm sentencing you to 4 years in state prison, 1 year for each felony count. Additionally, you'll pay full restitution to Mr. Henry for legal fees, totaling $127,000. "4 years?" Vanessa gasped. "I'll lose everything." "You lost everything the moment you forged that signature," the judge said. Rebecca squeezed my shoulder. Complete victory. After the sentencing, Tyler and I stood outside the courthouse. "Dad, I'm so sorry," Tyler said. "I should have seen through her." "You loved her. That's not a crime." "I let her manipulate me against you and Mom." "You stood up for what was right when it mattered," I said. "Your mother would be proud." David Park joined us. "The estate is fully restored to your name, Henry." "Thank you for testifying." "Margaret was my friend. I'm glad we caught this." Rebecca handed me a folder. "Vanessa's restitution payments start in 6 months. Her family has already disowned her." "Good," I said. Rosa Martinez called me that evening. "Mr. Henry, I saw the news. Justice for Mrs. Margaret." "Thanks to your testimony, Rosa." Tyler moved back home temporarily while his divorce finalized. One night over dinner, he looked at me seriously. "Dad, how did Mom really feel about Vanessa?" I pulled out Margaret's emails to Linda. "Read these." Tyler spent an hour going through them, tears streaming down his face. "She tried to warn me so many times." "She loved you. She wanted you to see it yourself." "Will you forgive me for not believing you sooner?" "There's nothing to forgive, son. You're here now." A year after the trial, I received a letter from Vanessa's attorney. Mr. Henry, my client wishes to apologize and seek your support for early parole. I called Rebecca immediately. What do you want to do? She asked. Tell her attorney I oppose parole. Vanessa serves every day of her sentence. Done. At the parole hearing, I testified via video. Vanessa Carter showed zero remorse until she was caught. She tried to destroy my family for money. I oppose her release. The parole board denied her petition unanimously. Tyler started dating someone new, a teacher named Emma who reminded me of Margaret. What do you think, Dad? Tyler asked nervously. I think your mother would like her, I said. That means everything. I still live in the house Margaret and I shared. Sometimes I sit in the study where she used to read. We won, sweetheart, I say to her photograph. Our family is safe. Some people think revenge is about getting even. But real justice means protecting what matters: family, truth, and the legacy of someone you loved. Vanessa thought she could steal 42 years of love with a forged signature. Instead, she lost everything, while I held on to what really mattered. Have you ever had to fight to protect a loved one's legacy from someone who tried to steal it? Sometimes the greatest victory isn't revenge. It's making sure the truth wins. Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.